Since it is a best of 5, once we get to game 4, we will not have our second phase of bans. Once we get to game 5, there will be no bans whatsoever, just the Fearless bans. Now, already neck deep into it, we had the Azir first pick for Pain Gaming Academy. Meanwhile, on the other side, Fearx Star Force, they double lock in the Cassante and the Tristana.
Yeah, and I will say real quick, the bans that we saw from Pain Gaming, the brand, because they know it's such a big pick there for XU, and I especially want to call out the Ezreal ban. It's a champion that has had a lot of success in this tournament. It's 7-1. Instincts look great on it, and I have a feeling that we're going to expect to see that taken away for most of this match.
Thing is, though, with these best of 5s, you won't have bans.
That's true.
Time
Game
goes
5.
On. So we'll see exactly how it goes.
Okay.
They could go the distance. So now we are getting a very strong top jungle combo here, at least with the Sejuani Camille.
I mean, Sedge, melee top, you already love to see it. And the Camille into the Cassante, a counter we don't see too often, but it's a counter Hidan is very happy to play. You said it earlier, Mazel. He's had Philip's number ever since this tournament started. And Philip, he's trying to beat the fatherhood allegations today.
I'm wondering who won the rock, paper, scissors competition there.
Oh my god, me too.
That's exactly. Hey, I don't know. I'm not remembering very well if he played scissors or not. But maybe he did, and then we have Camille. So
he was foreshadowing.
It's not Gwen, but it's the same thing. The Ziggs, though, something else to think about. It's the construction crew, or the destruction crew, rather, for Fearx Starforge so far.
Yeah, and you can see the Kai'Sa taken away immediately. Has been a very popular answer in this tournament. Marvin himself has even done it in this matchup. So they want to remove the late game power in the Kai'Sa, and conversely, the early game power in the Kalista. Another champion Marvin has had great success on. He's currently 2-0 on it. So they want to remove some bot lane dominance from Pain Gaming.
Philip's been training for this his whole life, this whole tournament. That's all he's been building for. Speaking of some of the things that we've been building towards, the very heavy facilitation jungler setup is going to be taken away. Deforestation is the name of the game for Pain Gaming, as they do not want to see the Ivern or the Maokai from Fearx Starforge. Getting into the second phase of picks, though, we are already getting the Rel for Winsome, and I actually really like this pick. I think it's been a pivotal pick throughout the tournament. Yeah,
it has, and the Galio hover would be interesting. Oh, wow, they're actually just going to immediately lock that in. Galio, it's going to be Galio support for Giggs, and it does play pretty well into a lot of melee matchups, but really what's good about it here is that it's being paired with the Camille. I can already tell, looking at this draft, no one can match Camille in the side lane, and if you try to make a play where Fearx Starforge over-index in that lane, Galio can join, turn the play on its head.
That's so interesting. Also, just the Venn diagrams going on right now, at least. Also going to be very strong with the team fight damage. Also backed up very heavily from Pain Gaming. This is the kind of draft I love to see in a full Fearless game number 1. It is the Zyra, though, and I will say this pick is a monster in the hands of XU.
Yeah, it is. He is really good on the pick. Another one of the AP junglers that Pain Gaming weren't able to, couldn't afford to ban away. So now this comp is going to be all about the range. It is all about trying to keep Pain Gaming at arm's length. They do have a good front line as well with Philip and Winsome to lock up members of Pain Gaming, especially the Zeri, especially this Camille, who are really trying to get in there and do as much damage as possible.
I love to hear the crowd there. I love to see the chants. This is the kind of fandom you love to see represented, and especially here on the T2 and that international stage. Now, talking about the compositions a little bit more, like we are looking at fisticuff central here when we get to 5-on-5, but it does feel like Pain Gaming's kind of in-between style picks can be very powerful as well.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's Pain Gaming have going for them is, Zeri, Azir, late game, that's a lot of DPS you're working with Mazel, and you have the front line to cover them as well. So if this Camille, if the Sejuani can close the gap and allow these carries to do damage, especially in the late game, I'm really liking Pain Gaming's chances. You have the Ziggs, you have the Tristana. This is a combo Fearx Starforge go for a lot, Mazel, and what they need to do with it is actually try and prioritize those grubs if they can make it happen, get an early gold lead with this Demolition duo.
And you know, it's a best of 5, so we do have to think ahead a little bit as well. There are some serious power picks taken off of both sides to look forward to for this Fearless setup going forward. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to kind of keep an eye on. But this game number 1 is what we all have our eyes on. Hidan has taken a very confident pick into Philip, feeling like he had his number every other time. Pain Gaming feeling like they have Fear's number every other time. We'll see if Fear can upset the balance and start off strong as we get into our best of 5 for our first ever grand finals of the America's Challengers. Let's see what these teams have in store.
Oh, and you can just hear the fans chanting, "Go Pain, go Pain." Those are the very chants Blaze Olive says he wants to silence. And being him alongside XU, a big part of Fear X Starforge's success these last couple of months in the summer split and here in the Americas tournaments. He has the ability to do so. Can he do it here today?
It's so funny when you talk to all the players. They're like, man, it's like terrifying, but also fueling at the same time to have that many cheers, that much
because there's no pressure on you.
Loudness coming at you.
Yeah, I mean, even I got to talk to XU, and he even says he thinks the crowd could be worked against them just because of things like what ABO had mentioned, where if things start going well for Fear, the crowd is suddenly silent. It's Pain Gaming. You feel that, Lennon. You know that. You notice that. And you know why it's happening.
You definitely do. We'll see if they can use some of that crowd energy on the Rift here. Starting on blue side has been maybe, I feel like, the stronger side at least at this point in the tournament. But I also want to take a check in on these jungle paths. It will be opposite side pathing as we get a 2v2 in bot side. Just going to have kickoff of some trading here. But looking at the focuses for both these junglers, it is a bit opposite.
Right, and I think XU pathing to top makes a lot of sense there. I think you kind of expect the Sejuani to play with that melee top laner, and the hope there is that you would want to cover just to make sure a play doesn't happen, especially if you want to be able to get that early grub spawn. I can't imagine we see a lane swap with the Ziggs and the Rel to try and get yourself priority over that first set of grubs, probably more likely the second. So anything XU can do to influence that topside matchup so they can get that objective is really crucial.
Yeah, and both top laners going to have a lot of team fight potential, at least setting up their teams in a lot of regards. See if this, at least focus from XU, is going to pay dividends. He was spotted out, though, so at least some information being given over to Pain Gaming Academy. I think that's super useful. See if a Blaze Olive can kind of keep priority in the mid lane on this Tristana.
Yeah.
And that's something else we could talk about a little bit as well. The Azir coming in here, the Tristana answer, the kind of priority fight that we're going to have between Qots and Blaze Olive.
Yeah, I know you can see it. Trist has really good pushing power. Blaze Olive, you can see he's trading his health just to get as much push as he can early on. And this has kind of been that strategy there for Fear X Starforge kind of as a whole throughout the split. ABO makes a lot of space for XU in the early game just because of his ability to lane and his ability to get that push, get good matchups, and win even a little bit more than you would generally expect. I know this time Qots has kind of got that push on him, but even still, XU did have the space to go for the invade, and he's going for a top gank.
Yeah, he was spotted out on that ward while crossing over to the enemy jungle as well. But yeah, popping that one, they know they can still play pretty confidently up here. And so the early pathing at least not going to pay off for XU, but still very strong in the Zyra itself. Maybe a revisit as well. Zidane had stayed up this way. Zidane going for another ward. Not expected. It came back. Does have the hook shot to get away because he is the Camille. And Tatu was trying to go for an invade on the other side. Get a little bit of vision instead.
Yeah, and that's something I actually want to credit Pain Gaming for a lot. Like going back through a lot of their matches throughout the tournament, they are really good at setting up deep vision. It's either Tatu, his bot lane, whoever the case may be, and they use that information to track the opposing jungler, and they are always so good at getting that information and using it to their best advantage. And you can see they're already doing it right here and now. They're going to have that clear look at XU and everything what he's doing. They're going to see him in 4K Mazel, and that means the laners know exactly how aggressive they can be.
And that information pays dividends for Pain Gaming, as well as we will have a dragon coming up in about 25 seconds. I will say none of our teams have necessarily gone for the on-spawn dragons here. A lot of vision for Pain Gaming is just being played towards right now, and honestly giving them kind of control over decision-making like you were saying. And we actually see Tatu going for a bit of an aggressive move to wait for XU. Maybe he thought maybe a little bit of vision play there, but fight over the chickens instead.
Yeah, both have smites. ABO actually does have that fast track because of where the wave is. So I think Tatu actually wants to go for it again. Wow, he's really pushing for this one.
Maybe it was fighting on the other side of the
there
road.
we go.
XU's fight that one away. Couple of emote trades between the two. We have seen in the past these two like to chatter a little bit. It's been a lot of fun to see kind of their relationship grow.
Yeah, especially just hearing from XU that these guys have been talking a lot. XU has a lot of respect for him. Oh, hold on.
That's bold. He had the level 6 mark, so that's the biggest difference that he's trying to utilize right there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if he done. Okay, yeah, he is going to stay. He's going to clear that wave out. XU cancels the back. I think right now that's why you could see ABO is walking towards the top side. Pain Gaming know that they're not in a great spot to go for these grubs. They have the bot push. They're going to go ahead and Drake stack instead. So both sides kind of getting a lot of what they want. You don't mind trading Dragon for the first 3 grubs as Pain Gaming. The question is just going to be, can you prevent Fear from getting all 6 of them? Because letting that go to a Ziggs and Tristana comp, I mean, you're liable to lose a lot of your turret plates before that 14-minute mark.
But if you look at Pain Gaming's comp, I mean, once they get level 6, their kind of fight around that next spawn of grubs will be very strong.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to be bringing Gigs up as well. And seeing him get involved on the map, especially once he gets that heroic entrance, I think is super important. Just being able to kind of make this Galio pick pay off. But he's also, not only that, the player that has been in a majority of kind of shot calling positions or at least playmaking decisions with Tatu.
Yeah, and I think Gigs in general has just been really good on not just the standard picks, but will play the more unique kind of stuff here where he'll play the Galio, he'll play the Poppy, he'll run the Pike, even though the Pike ended up losing for the most part. He does really well on these sorts of picks, and he opens up draft opportunities for his team. Like, again, because his willingness to play this pick in this position, they have that Camille Galio combo, which is really going to leverage Hidan's ability to be powerful in side lane as the game goes on.
We did see Tatu leech level 6 there. So he does have the Glacial Prison. If Fears step up too far, they're just going to die. There's the Glacial Prison goes wide. The flash play doesn't matter, though. The damage sticks, and first blood goes to Pain Gaming Academy.
Really nicely done there from Pain Gaming. Nice patience from Tatu, even though the Glacial Prison ended up missing. That's just good recognition from Gigs. As soon as the Satchel Charge goes out, you know you have that Justice Punch to set up the CC onto the Ziggs.
Nice little stutter there from Hidan, but honestly, so huge to get Marvin, of all people, an early kill on the Zeri. You'll love to see that, and also this, this rookie year of his maybe ending up in a strong position for him, at least starting off in this game number 1.
Yeah, that's right. 1-0 on the Zeri, who's going to be a big source of late-game DPS. Is something Marvin and the rest of Pain Gaming are going to be very happy about. We'll see this again. Remember, no Satchel Charge, so Instinct very vulnerable. Who cares if the Glacial Prison misses? It's just the easiest first blood you've seen.
The crowd loves it, and Pain Gaming Academy loves it as well. Fueled by the fire of their community, and it's working out so well so far. As XU is going to try to make a gank happen in topside. You have to remember, it's very hard to kill this Camille, and especially when Hidan has Flash. Winsome also going to make his way up here. Ablaze Olive is also making his way up here. Bring your masses! As he tries to get away, he does, in fact, in Fear, can't find anything. Now Philip.
ABO's here.
He's going to be slowed down. ABO has made the long walk up this way, but I think PNG will play pretty safely now.
Yeah, so good cover from Tatu. Nice hook shot from Hidan to avoid the play. He's going to drop a couple of creeps, but ultimately not really any worse for wear because of it. There is no play to be made here. And, oh wow, even so. Hidan?
Just keep it XU around a little bit more. But as we're getting to it now, we do have about a minute until the next grubs. This is going to be super important. And I do want to talk about how kind of PNG can approach these fights. They have a ton of go buttons if they have the right pieces in the right places. And I feel like their combo is very strong if they can be very direct with it.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, worth noting 2 Gigs has ticked over to level 6. So he has the heroic entrance. So it does mean anyone you jump on as, oh, hold on a second.
Marvin, he doesn't have escape. He's not. He's gonna burn the flash. He does.
Oh, nice
barely
cleanse.
Getting away for that ignite.
Wow.
That is really nice. Marvin surviving.
Yeah, really nicely played. It does cost his ult. It does cost both of his summoner spells, though. So now Fear are in a position where, I mean, if they wanted to lane swap or push this wave in and then move their bot lane over to these grubs, I think they'd have a really big advantage. Marvin's going to have a tougher time actually trying to put out DPS at this subjective fight. And, yep, I like this direction Instinct is going in. I think Fear recognize how valuable these grubs are.
And we talked a little bit about PNG's entrance in a lot of these, but it feels like Fears comes alive as time goes on, as we get a couple items for these major carries. Right now, they're putting the pressure on top side, maybe even looking at Grubageddon, but their composition, especially with the Ziggs and the Tristana, comes to bear when you get those second items, when you can get some of the standing gold on the turrets.
Yeah, and I mean, they can get to those second items very quickly, Mazel, now that they have gotten that Grubageddon. All 6 grubs into their back pocket. You can see QOTS is pushing in the picture-in-picture, but I think this is absolutely worth it, especially once Fear, you know, just use that 6 grubs that they've gotten for themselves. All they need to do is throw a bunch of people plus Ziggs into one of these side lane turrets, and they should have no problem collecting that first brick. And in fact, they can probably collect the second one too.
There's going to be PNG looking for another dragon. This would be really nice for their stacking objectives, though it is Fear moving in to try to fight this one. Instant engage.
Oh, wow.
And already Tatsu's getting burned down. Stranglethorn comes through. It's going to be Tatsu that claims the dragon as well. Giggs maybe throwing himself on the line here. Blaze Olive still fighting through, and Giggs will just give up his life. The dragon, though, taken by Pain Gaming.
Honestly, not the worst thing to happen for Pain Gaming. They managed to walk away. It does cost them their mid and jungle's flash, actually, so I'm going to revise that assessment. I do think that is tough, and I think come that Herald fight, that is something Fear can look to abuse because of the fact that they won't have those summoner spells back and ready to go. Oh, I said 2, actually 3 flashes. Giggs also flashed in that last exchange, so it will make Fear's all in a little bit easier to get done.
We are also getting to first items here in majority members, at least the Convergence or Tatu, but more importantly, the Nashor's Tooth, first item for QOTS. We also got the Leandries and the Blade of the Rune King for the mid jungle for Fear as well. So an uptick in a little bit of fighting power, but in game, they look to try to punish Philip up here and maybe get Hidan a bit of an advantage in the side lane.
Yeah, I think it's just more showing up, escorting the wave in case Philip gets too aggressive. Yeah, there's a ward. Hidan, I don't think he knows necessarily, but now there's a lot of people headed towards that top side. I mean, right now, we're a minute away from plates dropping. Still waiting to see if Fear are going to be able to actually try and knock down some of these turret plates. We are seeing XU towards this bottom side. QOTS, remember, no flash, no ult. He does have to walk away now that Fear's presence is known. And, okay, there we go. Now, this is going to be the almost certainly first break.
Gotta burn it down as fast as possible. And see what Pain Gaming can get anywhere else. Plus a Blaze Olive that was walking pretty riskily back to lane, but will be just escorted by Giggs. His first turret does end up going to Fear X Starforge, using the destructive comp very well.
Yeah, I mean, between that, the plates collected on top lane as well. You can see Fear X Starforge have gotten themselves almost a 3,000 gold lead. And this is exactly how they want to do it here. As long as Philip avoids the ensuing play. Oh, he's fine. He's fine. Everything's fine.
There's a chicken. There's a chicken running around. By the way, still one of the best skins they ever put out. The bucket of chicken.
Is that totally? Oh, is that totally not Galio or something? Or what is that skin? I don't remember.
No, it's like the restaurant one that they put out with like the pizza and the chicken.
Oh, and like the Baker Morgana and stuff like that.
No, I don't know.
Not Baker. Baker Pantheon. Pantheon.
Maybe. But they're baking right now.
Yes.
Because they're looking for
I dare
a fight.
say cooking.
Again, baby cookie. They might have the chef's hat on.
Yeah.
The biggest thing here for Pain Gaming is the strength lies in their instant engages. They catch somebody overextended or in the wrong position, they can instantly pounce, and you're going to be wishing you had not gotten out positioned. And we're seeing a little bit of movement from this top side, but stopped in his tracks is Hidan. They're going to take a fight there instead. And Fear, they're actually leaning up towards this way to try to collapse over here. A Blaze Olive going to be over here with the rocket jump, but now P&G taking advantage of the rest of the fight. Philip maybe overextending there. Tatu going low.
Nice
Tatu
turn.
going down. Instinct gets one. Winsome going low here as well, but P&G, they wanted this fight back, and now they don't find a good place to continue it. They're on the other side of the wall here as Riptail gets started up by FearX Starforge.
X, you said the way they were going to win this series is if they were ready for how often Pain Gaming love to fight. And they find a great fight proving that true here around this Rift Herald. So they're going to secure another neutral objective, and they have another avenue to knock down turrets and continue extending this gold lead.
A little bit overzealous there by Pain Gaming, but I can see the angle. Because that's honestly, if you look back to their last series against each other, that's where Pain Gaming were taking advantages on the back ends of fights or in the in-betweens, like forcing Fear to not have a standard setup for themselves. The Blaze Olive is going to get Hextech Ultimatum. There's the combo. Venn diagrams of death come for you, and nobody can escape that one. A shutdown as well to QOS.
So that extra bit of gold is going to feel very nice. The Blaze Olive, a little head scratch, not happy about that one. And that's just a taste of what we can expect from Pain Gaming in that side lane. QOS won't always be there, but the Camille Galio is definitely what you can expect. XU, of course, is going to respond, taking some control over the bot side. He's going to rob Atatsu of some jungle camps. And now this pressure towards the mid and bottom side of the map, even though it's going to cost a turret for them, Fear do have control over this next Drake. They can halt the Drake stacking and find themselves in a pretty comfortable position this game.
They're extending pretty far on bot side, and there is a redeploy coming out from Pain Gaming. Luckily, they'll catch Tatu right in transition here, so they won't stay around for the turret. Do get really good damage on a tier 2, but now the focus has to be on the Dragon. You do not want to give a soul point over to Pain Gaming Academy.
No, especially not Mountain Soul. Galio, Camille, Sejuani, I think they would love that a little bit too much. So Fear can't let that happen as we take a look at this play right here. We saw the other POV with God Vision. This is what EBO saw. Unfortunately, there wasn't really anything he could do there. Actually, it looked like he used the Buster shot right away, and Hedon managed to dodge out on it when he cast that Hextech Ultimatum. So nicely done from Hedon.
I mean, the guy's been the GOAT, it feels like, of this tournament. Hedon has had such an incredible, at least go for Pain Gaming Academy himself, but it's also just been the way that he's kind of dismantled the top lanes. And I mean, the fact that this guy is so experienced, he's been in the scene for so long, and he's still able to do this kind of stuff is so nice. Yeah,
it's great, and he has been just a top performer this entire tournament, and again, a big part of the success Pain Gaming had against FearX Starforge the first time earlier in that playoff bracket. I think what I enjoy most about watching him play is his ability to find flank angles. He'll go deep to set up these angles so the carries of his opponents aren't able to respond properly, and it's part of how Pain Gaming team fights so very well in that mid to late game.
I need to see that come alive here as we're getting closer and closer to second items completed as well. More team fights on the horizon. Fear looking to make a move behind Pain Gaming's move, and it's just moves of moves, flangles of flangles, and P&G, they're trying to reconsider that one as Winsome goes for the insta engage. Now right back to it. There's the Emperor's Divide. Stranglethorn used underneath it though. Winsome getting low. Pain Gaming, they're looking to fight, and they've got Tate Phillips split off from the rest of his team, and this is where we've seen things go wrong time and time again for Fear. Pain Gaming take full advantage.
Yeah, they're initially engaged. It didn't get them enough, Mazel, so Giggs was able to have a big play with the ultimate there and that heroic entrance. And a lot of the gold lead, basically all of it, has been destroyed by that play there from FearX Starforge. And you can hear the chants. They're getting louder because even the crowd knows that Pain Gaming have gotten themselves a big play.
Yeah, I mean, from the shutdown at top side when they got that one, and then now also these couple fights, it is an even game. And that's where we have to talk a little bit of brass tacks here. This also has been the story for Fear. They constantly find big advantages in the early games, but we've seen them falter every time, it feels like. So trying to find that consistency for this team is also important.
Yeah, we're going to see the replay here. I think that the interesting thing, too, is that's kind of hard with this comp is you're playing a Zyra, you want teams to move into you, you want to kite, but you could see they're running forward, XU is flashing forward, and they couldn't find a single kill after using all their ultimates. So the turn from Pain Gaming, it's just too easy. They want to get up close and personal, and they are very happy about Fear running into them.
You could hear how quiet the crowd was until these couple moments have started going back in their favor. Now we're getting loud and rambunctious again as Philip forced to flash away, but instantly pounced on by Idon. Now we're going to get the TP in. That's a Blaze Olive. I mean, he's just a little Tristana. What are you going to do against them? He busted shots away. Rocket jumps beautifully as Giggs was trying to come around there. They actually caught Tatu. He's going to flash. He is going to get out with his Arctic Assault. It's now Rico again. Philip staying a little bit too long. Does almost get his life taken from him. Wins, as we do get the Rift Arrow pop, it's going to be XU trying to drive that one straight to mid lane and get some more standing gold for Instinct and for Fear.
Yeah, it is a bit of a kind of last second Herald spawn. I'm almost certain that it was about to expire.
No.
Oh no!
He doesn't even have time to use it. Finally, before he dies, he goes down with that ultimate use. Now Hidan has found that TP play, almost catching the stragglers here, but not worth it. And PNG, they consistently are finding punishes, and now for the first time they have a gold lead.
And it's like that first 15 minutes didn't even happen, Mazel. You just see Fear not being able to effectively use the Rift Herald, having to drop it last second. It makes the play very telegraphed. So Giggs, Tatsu, the rest of Pain Gaming were very easily able to punish XU for that one. And Fear, not only did they not get that mid-tier 1 turret, they lost the bot tier 1 as well. Pain Gaming, they have the gold lead in their favor now.
And meanwhile, we have seen Tatu maybe be the one that gets caught out a lot, but he's also one of the major pieces of what is setting up these kind of plays for PNG. And honestly, rightfully so. The guy has been a king at the jungle, and now that we see the momentum shifting in their favor, he is also going to be on his second item. And I think these team fights are going to get a little bit hot and heavy to handle.
That's right now. The focus here is on this next Drake. 15 seconds until it spawns. It is Pain Gaming's sole point, and it's worth noting, I will say there actually is a slight advantage there for Fear, just because ABO backed. He has a second item.
Oh, they're just trying to take out Tatu immediately. This time it works, although Hidan had another idea going in on the other side. Does end up hookshotting his way away. Qots was trying to keep Prio in mid lane, but now PNG don't have any jungle on the map, and they're going to try to still contest this dragon. Maybe feeling the team fight might just be worth it.
They do have some big ults to play with, but it's looking like they actually just want to posture, maybe push out that next mid wave and trade the Drake. I will say, stacking Mountain Drakes will feel really nice there for Fear. Winsome and Philip are going to get very, very tanky if they're going to be able to continue stacking. But again, a lot of that advantage came from the fact that ABO had that second item over Qots. He's going for the death cap second, so it's very expensive. Didn't get that second item power spike, and it is what opened this one up for some success, I think.
I mean, he just doesn't have the tankiness to stay alive just yet. Maybe in the far future, but not just now at least. And we are now finally cresting the second items for our carries as well, as we have that Runeans completed from Marvin. Also has a BF sword on the back of it, so his team fight strength has actually kind of soared through the roof. But that's what I love about these comps. If we take a look back holistically, like in the draft, we literally said both these teams want to fisticuff team fight and team fights. And team fight and team fight and team fight and team fight. And that's what we're going to get. And at this point, I feel like both these teams are setting up to some very, very big 5-on-5s.
Yeah, I will say, I do like Pain Gaming's chances a little more later on into the game. Partially because, again, no one can really match Hedon, especially once he gets to that second item. He is going to be a monster in the side lane. He has Giggs in his back pocket with that Camille Galileo combo. And the fact that, I mean, you have a good front line in these 5v5s for Qats and Marvin, who are very strong, consistent DPS dealers in these team fights. So Fear, they're going to have to play these fights out really nicely, really cleanly. They want to get that win here in game one.
Completely dead even, 24 minutes in. Pain Gaming Academy trying to put some pressure on this top side, leaning Giggs over there as well. And the side lane catchouts can be very powerful for them. We already mentioned it so many times, but their catchout tools are very, very strong, as they're actually getting a redeploy out from Fear X Starforge, trying to re-secure some of the vision control around this top side.
I will say Hedon is actually staying, I think he must be sitting on a bunch of gold. He's ahead in terms of gold, but you can see how behind he is in itemization. Might be waiting for a big back. Maybe he's waiting for himself to back, set up a teleport play, and maybe Pain Gaming can try and go for a Baron. But right now, yeah, Philip can definitely do this. He's liking his chances.
Okay, Philip likes him. He's going in. He's got the flash already burned. He's going to try to get the angle here onto Hidan. Does end up getting the hook shot away, so not able to do it.
This is Camille. What can you do? They do go flash for flash.
He must have won the round for this disease.
Yeah. And okay, I guess this is that Baron play. Remember, Hidan has teleport. He has a lot of gold to spend.
No, though, this is going to be a little dicey if Fear can get their damage dealers
Maybe
here. Hidan has come over. Oh, he's just going to go for the engage. There we go. That's what you like to see. Heroic interest coming down as well. Pain Gaming. Now, though, they're split from the fight.
Wow.
Divide. We're going to right back, and Marvin waits to use the lightning crash until it's right in the eyes of Fear. They can no longer see. They've been blinded by the light and Fear. They are rebuffed from that mid lane play, and now back onto the Baron. Potentially goes Pain? No. Okay.
No. These health bars are way too low, but a great fight coming through from Pain Gaming. It is going to get them that priority, and actually, they're just going to full send it. Never mind, you have Sejuani to tank. It doesn't matter. Ablaze all of TP'd away, so they know that they have the ability to do this. Oh my god, it's a disaster for Pain, or for Fear X Starforge.
What a map play. I mean, I love it because we were talking to the XU, and XU was like, oh yeah, that was close. One of the biggest things is we want to either be able to outfight them or be able to out macro them. Well, Pain Gaming have showed up today with some serious macro hands. They will end up losing a couple turrets because of the destruction crew that Fear have, but getting that Baron is huge.
And that is a small comfort for Fear X Starforge. They open the map a little bit more. They do collect 2 tier 2 turrets worth of gold. And I think it's just in time. As long as they can get these recalls off and get them soon and spend the gold that they do. Wow, that just feels terrible. As long as they can spend this gold and recall soon, they will be on time for this next dragon. But that's why you're seeing Pain Gaming get aggressive, wasting their time. So any gold they've earned these last few minutes, they're not able to spend it.
Oh, Giggs, he's caught out a little bit, tried to get out, but now he's just stuck in the fire. And now you're going to be missing a huge part of your front line. Just trying to use this Baron buff is the most important thing right now for Pain Gaming Academy.
Yeah, so I will say, as long as Pain can try and delay this Dragon start, we'll actually talk about that one after. We're going to see this fight again. I will say Winsome played this one really nicely, making a lot of space, forcing the Hextech ultimatum onto him. But Qots with the Flash Emperor's Divide is what ended this fight for Fear X Starforge. So much damage on the carries, no more room for them left to fight. And because ABO TP'd away, Pain Gaming got the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, they literally waited until the TP completed and started it up. It's huge. Now we are on 3 items for both Marvin and Instinct. Very differing styles of damage, though. Sustained from Marvin, and a little bit bursty from Instinct. We'll see if the poke does come alive, because we do have Dragon up, and both teams looking at Soul Point.
Yeah, and it's going to be Pain Gaming. I think the delay on the backs from Fear X Starforge is actually what ended up opening this one up to them. Even though Giggs died, they bought so much space and time that he was able to show up and make enough space that they collect that 3rd Drake. So that's Mountain Soul on the horizon for Pain Gaming, a huge buff. And against something like the Ziggs, Instinct would not be happy if they got it.
Philip going over towards the enemy team now as well. He's going to use that Hextech ultimatum. Now the combo is there. Philip is still going to get that kill now. It is traded immediately back there, as it's going to be a 2 for 2 now going forward. As no, actually they're not able to get Philip in the end. And it's actually Fear X Starforge who fight it out, take down Hidan and Giggs. So they are losing their mid tier 2.
Yeah, and Baron buff still going strong here for the side of Pain Gaming. I will say that was a good fight from Fear X Starforge. They are able to come out on top, trading that 1 for 2, even though it does cost them a tier 2 turret. And Fear are still in a bit of a tough spot right now. They can't let that Mountain Soul to go through. And if Pain Gaming are able to get that, it's kind of done and dusted.
Let's see the backing Giant Poro as Tatu's going to take a reset here. Yeah, the butt waggle. We're going to take a look back at this fight, because honestly it felt like Pain Gaming were the ones that really wanted to try to take this one after they saw that Philip went through, but the collapse from Fear was huge.
It was, and you could see Ablaze Olive putting in a lot of help there. to help take down Hedon, and as soon as Hedon's out of this fight, isn't able to actually get any serious damage done, I think Fear's chances just soar dramatically in some of these skirmishes and team fights. So really good play from Philip to allow the rest of his team to come show up and help.
And you can literally see the difference in what the Mortal Reminder does for Blaze Olive's damage against all these frontliners. Like, he is actually able to kill them now. So we'll see as time goes on. We're going to be on 4th items here very soon for our carries. And this is the state of the game where we have to talk about the machinations for both these teams, because we know Pain Gaming love to fight. They love to fight you tooth and nail everywhere you could go, but Fear feel like they have the better macro sense. We're gonna need to see them utilize that with this style of composition in a Blaze Olive. Not realizing Tatu was there is gonna get stopped midair, but still is able to get to the rest of the team.
It's fine. All it costs him is his rocket jump, nothing else. Still, I like the look from Tatu and the rest of Fear X Starforge. Baron's up in a minute 40 seconds. Going to be the next thing both teams have set their sights on. That's why you see that play there, preventing a Blaze Olive from pushing the way to the tier 2 turret. Right now, though, XU is in a little bit of trouble.
Sneaky.
Oh, they just don't know. Oh, and the plant died.
He did not see everybody else go over the corner, though. Tatu and Hidan had snuck their way over here, and we're looking at some sneaky snakes here from Pain Gaming Academy, although Fear feel like there is something going on here. They will not be able to get the stops of the backs in any regard. 0 for 3, but it's fine as we're going to get resets from Pain Gaming.
Now Fear are going to get their turn to clear up vision and try and get set up for this Baron. And now, I'm wondering if there's a push play in the cards for them, but I think they actually are just wanting to recall, spend whatever gold they can. I think the big thing for them would be if AVO hits his 4th item on the Tristana, your DPS would be astronomical. I think it's very fitting, as in a lot of these team fights, AVO does the bulk of the damage for this team as well. And he's been such a big part of this team's success alongside XU, so this just feels like comfort zone for him.
Using some of that experience. On the other hand, I got to talk about somebody who doesn't have as much experience in Marvin. He's on 4 items now, 4-0, a major carry in this force for Pain Gaming. Now they're looking for a little bit of pressure in mid lane, but this guy, he has a ton of weight on his shoulders. He is a primary damage dealer in this kind of composition, and his positioning is going to be utmost important.
It is. Flash still on cooldown. Actually, it looks like he will have it in time for the Dragon. I think that's going to be that most important thing, because he is, again, a lot of that damage. Qot's also worth noting. Really strong at the moment. Has Void Staff. Has the Death Cap. So those Sand Soldiers, they're just going to be ripping people to shreds. And again, that's Pain Gaming's comp. A lot of DPS that if Fear aren't able to burst down members with the Ziggs Tristana, with the Zyra, then these long fights, they will not go well for them.
Look at the vision toggle by the observers. No vision around this Dragon Pit for Fear.
None.
They don't have any control over that side of the map, and they know there are sharks lurking. Hidan is just waiting to catch somebody out, and we're getting ready for this Dragon spawn now. We've been waiting around for about a minute in mid lane trying to see who can push, who can pull, but now we're going to get a potential soul of a Mountain Soul for PNG. Oh, wait, just go in.
Oh, they're going.
He's got the full-on engage. Hidan goes on the side. They need to reposition here. Fear are losing bodies, but so are PNG. They get the all-out on the Hidan. Giggs going forward. Now Ultra Shock Laser going a little bit wide. The fact that Marvin and Qot are still full health is so terrifying. Heroic entrance coming in as well. Hidan has set up the team. Oh, no. They actually catch out Giggs. A Blaze Olive goes too far forward, but the Buster Shot.
Oh, I think he's dead.
Marvin, tick, tick, boom, baby.
Wow, so it ends up being a pretty even fight. Well, it's actually a 2 for 3 in favor of Pain Gaming, but it's looking like, can Qot actually go for the Drake? I mean, there's vision, but there are also teleports on the side of Fear X Starforge. They don't want to let this go through. So can they actually do something about it? It's looking like the answer is no. The Camille, Azir, I mean, as Tristana Ziggs, you don't want to actually walk into that. So that is the Mountain Soul over for Pain Gaming, and a big buff in their hands. Going to help them close out game 1.
Getting this kind of game for game number 1. It is a knockout, drag-out fight. We're taking a look back.
With a composition that we saw work very well against G2, whether they're going to be able to be the ones to do it. They're already taking a little bit of damage. Oh my goodness.
Always got to be careful of that level 1 Braum. And Faker is going to be respectful here. Zeus going to collect some damage onto 369, some additional gold. But look at this draft. I mean, we talked about it moments ago. Really strong setup for the Ahri Charm into Vi Ultimate or vice versa. The Equalizer could be layered on top. This setup has been the strongest right now in this meta, but we're going to have another lane swap, gentlemen. Once again, JackeyLab headed straight to the top lane.
Carrier moving towards that bottom side, so T1 not aware of what's going on here, and of course with 369 in that tri-brush, maybe T1 don't quite know what's happening here. They do have this forward ward though. We'll see where the top esports move on in.
And you know, even though top esports didn't have a fantastic MSI, as a team they had a really good understanding of lane swaps and how they could leverage them for XP advantages, or in situations like this, to avoid rough lane matchups. And that is the goal. You know, you have Xante playing the Rumble, not the most fun time, but Mosi playing into this Calista Renata is something you definitely want to avoid. So we do see that similar top laners ganking mid. That kind of became a hallmark of MSI.
First strike gold always going to be really nice as well when you're pushing in like this. His owner will secure the smite.
Yeah, you can see heal actually going to be invested here as well as the Winter's Bite really helping the concussive blows. As there's the flash, nicely done from Owner to get him towards that blast cone and get himself out of dodge.
Fantastic by Owner. If he doesn't flash at that exact moment, he gets denied the blast cone and will find himself in trouble. Can just head right down to the bottom side clear from here. But an aggressive level 1 play from Mako. The heal traded for flash. You'll absolutely take that as top esports.
I think looking at the scope of how we've seen the drafts play out, really for top esports, even if they're a little behind on the back of this, they're still okay with that. T1 one of the ones getting the major advantage out of this, and we did see that change from MSI. It's even harder to take plates on the top lane than it was before, so in terms of gold, wouldn't take too much effort for T1 to get an advantage there.
Yeah, and T1 had a fair bit of practice against Team Liquid when it came to these lane swaps. Of course, MSI wasn't exactly kind, and that's why we saw a lot of teams actually trying to employ this lane swap strategy against T1 because they weren't exactly super comfortable with it. However, this is a different time and a different patch, and now it is slightly less, good to do the old lane swapping.
You can see how much the differences in damage here in top versus bottom turrets as T1 ripped through these plates twice the speed of top esports here. So they're going to at least be able to get this Gromp here, Meko and Tian, but T1, really, really fast take of these plates, and then you can see Owner heading over and taking away some of Tian's jungle in return. Meanwhile, in mid, Faker having a pretty large lead there as well, has the level advantage, has the buffed Electrocute on this patch to continue putting the harass on. Here comes that TP. This has been a disaster a few times.
And he thought that they'd backed as well as, oh dear. Okay, that is first blood going over to JackeyLab as Mako tanks up the turret happily. And look, we've seen that one before, guys.
Yeah.
Third time this tournament.
We've seen it so many times, and just when you're seeing the plates drop off that bot lane tower for T1, thinking, you know, they're getting a pretty big edge, the TP comes in, top esports happy to get a first blood on JackeyLab. They'll definitely balance out the gold, and ultimately put them in a really good spot to swap back the lanes. JackeyLab now has a tier in his inventory alongside some bonus items. And yeah, just ended up being a blunder from Zeus, but a great read from top esports to wait around for that TP.
Yeah, Faker going to be aggressed on here a little bit by Cream in the mid lane. You can see things going much better for the GOAT himself in this particular game. 200 gold going to be the lead in the end, though, for top esports, and that is a big swing back from the amount of control that T1 had earlier on. Zeus now moving back towards his top lane, and you can see very even as far as the top laners. It's not going to be another one of these very skewed games between the top lane farm. We'll see how 369 is going to do in this matchup as all the deception comes out. Bit of damage on the Cream, but otherwise not too much to worry about.
So effectively, top esports avoided some of the tougher parts of the matchup into the Calista. And you also have to consider as well, on top of this, that Zeus in this top lane loses his teleport, dies, of course. That's a kill going over to JackeyLab. But at the same time, in this matchup, it's difficult for a Xante to actually punish Rumble's lack of teleport. He doesn't rely on mana. He's just going to be able to continue to trade aggressively here, and there's no way 369 could trade with him and then teleport back to get an advantage. So not the end of the world here for T1, but definitely a larger lead could have been had as Faker in the mid lane. Tian going to peek, but doesn't commit.
Yeah, we see a lot of damage being done to Cream on this Shone, but part of the power of this pick is just you go Darren Shield, you go Fleet Footwork, you go second win, you gotta just shake it up. And now Zeus does have flash here, but might be in trouble.
Yeah, the teleport didn't work out. Let's see whether the flash does as he gets Bramble smashed back. Faker is here, though. The teleport very early on, and now it's 369 that might be overextended. The charm doesn't land, though. Orb of Deception, fair bit of damage onto Tien, and if anything, Faker has just saved his top laner. Can they actually find something more? As the Foxfires come on in, 369 going to be the first target. He gets onto the turret, but the charm will find him. And now Tien's moved the wrong way. He wants to take a ward for his trouble, but he will burn down instead.
The second charm hits, and Faker's teleport timing here is so fast. They're able to turn the play around. Looked really rough for Zeus. He's not going to get punished by 369, but the gank comes through, and Faker turns it around now in mid. It will cost him a little bit of farm here, but he was already up on farm, already had mid controlled. Zeus?
Yeah, Zeus just comes back. Faker completes his back as the scrap shield will come on in. But 369 will pick up the return solo kill.
Yeah, not sure about that weird. Bit of a weird one. And the wave is also
with his hand on his forehead right now.
The wave's also in such a terrible spot. Looks like 369's actually just gonna clear it out and go for a reset. But yeah, Zeus really fumbling on the back of what was a great play, and now we're getting some contest over these grubs, but Zeus isn't here to back up.
That is going to be one of them taken by Tien as Cream moving on in. He will have to go back to his soul, which could mean a 3 versus 1. Make it a 4 versus 1. So Tien is sort of left in the lurch. He kind of knew it was going to happen. Still has his flash and is going to be taken down. Did get one of the grubs though.
I mean, you can feel how much these two teams want. It feels like we're playing a little bit of catch here in terms of getting a lead and then tossing it away. As Zeus, like you mentioned, the wave was not a great spot. Is way up in the lane. Faker has to come over here. It's a great gank by Tian. Faker's charm missing here. Looks out in the initial outset pretty rough, but Faker knows he's close enough to 6 here. Zeus helps him clear these minions. He then gets the Spirit Rush to chase them down. And Zeus has enough additional damage here as well. There's just no way this goes top esports' way. 369 goes to the flash, but it's not enough. The fadeaway charm secures the kill.
Yeah, and even though obviously Zeus dying in the aftermath of this is obviously a blunder, the team play and the decisions that T1 are going for as a unit have been really good so far.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of miscommunication as Faker was there backing at that point in time, but wasn't actually there to help out his top laner because he had a lane to get to, and he just managed to save him previously. So 2 grubs to 1 is going to be the result of that previous play, and 3 kills to 2 in favor of T1. A much better early game than what we saw in game number 1, and we'll see whether that is going to continue here for T1 or whether Top Esports have some more to show us. As Carrier moving towards that top side, Gumayushi has to cleanse and does move out of the way of the True Shot Barrage. Owner in the area. And Fate's Call actually employed very early on. Jackie Love looking for those Mystic shots. Doesn't connect. It is now Faker trying to avoid Cream, who does do a fair bit of work. Still has to take the Orb of Deception damage on his way back, though.
Could be a fight here, Mako. Does spot Owner.
Yeah, Tien in the area as well. So a 3 versus 3 handshake going to be utilized. Jackie Love not going to get CC'd from that one. Good side steps, but still has to flash as Carrier. And that is a lot of power. This Jackie Love Mako bottom lane is formidable, but they are playing so well here in this game. As Owner moves on forward, Cream, of course, can just snap back to that unbound soul. As flash forward, okay, Tien going to be the target, and he's going to return the favor. They find Faker just by himself after the buy overextends, and Tien on about 50 health just walks away. Still, Owner is able to do some battle, but he will not be vault breaking forward to find anything here for T1.
Unfortunately for T1, 2 plays kind of going the wrong way. Topside, a very sloppy dive set up there. An extra turret shot taken. A long cooldown for the Fate's Call is expended. And then here in mid, he sees blood in the water, wants to flash here and get behind Tian, but that leaves Faker out to dry. And even with the flash attempt here, there's no way out. Look at Cream getting the knock up here to help Tian escape. Clean play from Top Esports. That gold lead shrinking a little bit.
Yeah, the thing is, Chen, even if he had gone down there, still got the value from the CC to set up Cream, so ends up surviving, which is even worse for T1, but just felt like the target selection did end up backfiring a bit, and T1 now not nearly as big as a lead as you'd hope with a composition like this, and particularly because we had this lane swap setup, this Rumble's going to feel a lot weaker, you know, often a champion who can really take over games when he's ahead, when he's fed, but with only hitting 50 CS just now, he's going to have a lot less items than counterparts in other lanes, and Cassante is a lot less bothered about that.
Yeah, he's been spending a lot of time trying to pick up some plate gold. He took some bottom side, got some top side there, so even though he's low on CS, he does have a decent amount of farm, is working towards that first item, and we'll have it shortly here. But like you said, yeah, low econ top laners, the Rumble is going to get less impact than the Cassante as Owner's calling for another pass.
Yep, Faker looking for Cream here as the unbound soul does come in. The charm's going to connect, but Cream playing this one out pretty well for now. True Shot Barrage just picks the gap between the two T1 players, but Cream's just fine.
Cream's been playing so well this tournament, and as the player with the least amount of experience on this roster by far, he's really stepped up to the plate when going up against mid laners like Chovy, like Faker, these hallmark names, and particularly on picks like Yone. You know, when he first joined the LPL, he was so big on those melee assassins, picks like Akali, picks like Silas. It's just a treat to watch.
Right, you've been taking out